Hi guys, thanks for joining us. We're getting this guy every time now. So in this video, we're going to be picking out the highlights of Magic. Magic's a big thing in the book. We'll probably come back to it maybe at some point over the coming weeks. But in this video, we just want to concentrate on some of our favorites, or some that we think have changed that you might want to know about.
There are some definite changes.
First up, the lore of Tzeentch. I'm going to talk about its lore attribute first, okay? Because I'm going to be learning about this as we go along. When a spell from the lore of Tzeentch is successfully cast, make a note of how many power dice results were a 6. After resolving the spell effects, you immediately add a single power dice to your army's pool for each result of a 6 that was rolled to cast a spell. Only the wizard that added these power dice to the pool can use them.
No, you only ever want to roll 1-6.
Yeah, as soon as you roll more than 2, something's going to go wrong.
And is that because of the warp?
No,
it's because of miscast.
It's called miscast. Okay.
That's just the general rule in fantasy. If you roll double six or more 6s for casting, then you're rolling on the miscast chart, which
the other
can do
thing
bad
about
things.
is in the previous edition of fantasy, you were able to just pull more and more dice into your pool. It could grow, but now your pool has a ceiling, doesn't it?
12. You roll 2d6, and that's your number of dice you're allowed. Your opponent gets the highest number of your 2 for the spell dice. And
Plus
for every wizard you have in your army, you get to roll 1 dice. If it comes up a 6, you add that to your pool.
Okay.
And that's your ceilings.
The only army that automatically adds dice to its pool anymore is dwarves, and that's in the dispel pool.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing Workshop do are these handy little spell cards.
Yep, these are worth it.
Which are handy to have because it means that you can run around. You don't necessarily have to. Well, you know, they're in the book anyway.
But it allows you to go, right, this wizard has spells,
and just put them down just beside the wizard.
4 spells, this wizard has these 2 spells.
It stops you from forgetting your own spells.
Well, before I get into the spells, do I need to go over this Warp Flame special
With
rule?
Tzeentch, I really would.
Yeah.
This is where Tzeentch is no longer the awesomeness that it used to be.
Okay, so the Warp Flame special rule. At the end of each phase, any unit that suffered 1 or more unsaved wounds from an attack with this special rule during that phase must take a toughness test. If the test is failed, the unit immediately suffers D3 wounds with no armor saves. If the test is passed, all models in the unit gain the regeneration 6+ special rule for the rest of the game. Any models in the unit that already have the regeneration special rule gain +1 to all regeneration saving throws for the rest of the game. Chaos is fickle. Hang on a second.
Yes, you potentially are making your opponent's units better.
You can potentially give your opponent a 1+ regeneration save.
Didn't you say there was a ceiling?
No, there's not a ceiling on it.
Games Workshop, can we have a ceiling put on this, please?
No, don't.
Holy moly, hang on a second here. So they do a toughness test.
They fail it, they take some wounds.
Yeah, they take D3 wounds with no armor saves. Meh, that's all right. But if the test is passed...
It's the downside to it.
Are they pretty likely to pass the toughness test?
Depends what it is.
Most rank and file stuff 50-50.
If you use it on a monster, he's most likely to pass it.
Oh yeah, you give him the monster regen.
And then you've just given that monster regen.
Yeah.
If it didn't have it already. This is why Tzeentch is no longer Tzeentch used to be in the old book your offensive lore. It had things like Treason of Tzeentch, Infernal Gateway, 2 spells that people absolutely hated.
Yeah.
Pandemonium, Flickering Fire, Baleful Transmogrification.
It used to be an amazing lore.
It was an amazing lore full of 5 amazing spells. We don't mention the 5th one because the 6th one because it only really worked when we teamed up with our vampires, didn't it? Which was hilarious.
But now
it's a support lore. It's not the uber lore of I'm going to punch you in the face.
So if we wanted to have fun, we'd just pull the magic from the old book for Tzeentch.
Oh, please.
No. If you wanted to have fun, not your opponent.
Yeah, your opponent really doesn't. Most people who've gone up against Warriors of Chaos on a regular basis knew that most wizards in the Warriors of Chaos army had the mark of Tzeentch, had their Tzeentch mages, and just went, just don't roll a 6, don't roll a 6, don't roll a 6.
Yeah.
I was fine with you getting the 6 as long as your wizard died turn 2.
Yeah.
Let's go on to some spells, okay? We're kicking off with Glean Magic, cast on an 8+. The caster steals sorceries from his adversary's mind. Swampy, Nobody wants to steal anything from your line, mate. Clean
I'm
Magic.
sure there are some people out there.
Clean Magic is a direct damage spell that targets a single enemy wizard within 18 inches. The caster and the target both roll a d6 and add their wizard level to the score. If the target's total is higher than the caster's, nothing happens. Otherwise, the target suffers a Strength 3 hit with the Warp Flame special rule, loses one wizard level to a minimum of 0, and forgets one randomly determined spell. This cannot be a bound spell. If the caster does not already know this spell, he immediately gains it and can cast it just like any of his other spells. When casting a stolen spell, always substitute its lore attribute with the lore of Tzeentch. Lore attribute, pardon me.
So in other words, you don't use that lore's attribute, you use Tzeentch's attribute.
Yeah. That's nasty.
It is when you could go up against, say, Teclis. Hey, Teclis, what? Lose a wizard level and forget one of your spells. I now know it.
And is there, well, not cheese to be had in that, but can you learn spells that a Warriors of Chaos army wouldn't normally know?
Yes, so you could do this you could learn gut magic spells this way.
I want to see the big war.
You could learn the big.
I want to see Gork Warpath being led by a
Tzeentch wizard doing Gork's Warpath. He's made the Gork made Gork think he looks green.
You could declare a war if you.
No, you can't declare a war.
All right,
But
okay.
you could say
you can have their big god, so to speak.
Yeah.
Come down and stamp on their units for a
That's
for a
Gork.
change.
Yeah.
Is it Gork or Mark? Yeah, one of them.
Well, no, you don't know which one's which, do you? Because
Yeah.
it's in their own book.
Yeah.
No, the one I'm thinking potentially, I don't think it doesn't actually state that you can't do it. It's doing this with a vampire player and learning Raise Undead.
Can't do it
Why?
because you ain't gonna have the zombies to raise.
We have
Who
spawn.
says?
So if I have a box full of zombies,
You're gonna need them.
could you? No, it's an ability, the roll on that ring thing, where the
Vlad,
leader can
yeah.
come back to life. But there's bound to be some really interesting spells out there that.
You can't actually have access to as a Warrior's Chaos. But
Yeah,
the
that are
fun one
gonna
would
be
actually
weird.
be is if your opponent's you've got some Dragon Ogres in your army, and your opponent's got the Law of Heavens with him, and you brought Codex Sun Eater.
I was thinking of a different one. I was thinking the higher font gives you a 5-up ward save.
Yeah,
Because you're a Marker Tzeentch, you'll get the +1 to your ward save.
yeah, you could have a 4-up wall save unit.
No, you can have a 3-up if you've got the right roll on the chosen
Yeah.
other gods.
Is there any armies where this is no use against? Like, for example,
Dwarves.
Dwarves, because they don't have magic.
They
per
don't have
se.
wizards.
Empire that have only brought warrior priests. Mm-hmm. Because again, they're a bound items.
What about lizard men?
No, this could work
Slaanesh
on a Slan.
priest.
This could work
Yes,
quite well on a
please.
Slan.
He has Lawmaster, whatever given law the guy's taken.
Because I haven't seen anybody play lizard men in a while, so it's you're a lizard man player, yeah?
I've got a Lisbon army
Oh, yeah, happy
of about
days.
5,000 points.
Is
Oh, no, the one I'm
is
thinking.
there a risk?
Dark magic.
No, you're not putting this with dark magic
Why?
because it'll be too broken.
And
It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
still Cannon Bear.
It's not the fact that your weapon skill 1, it's you can make your opponent's
Weapon
weapon
skill
skill 1 and ballistic skill 1.
Yeah. How would you?
it's
Is
only
this-
targetable on wizards. That's
Yeah,
the
it's
problem.
just it's targetable on wizards.
Yeah?
You can cast it multiple times. Yes.
No,
Once per magic phase.
once per wizard who has the spell, and the max number of times you could have this spell in your army with Warriors of Chaos is 2.
Right.
You
So
bring
you'll only be
village
able to
and your
cast this
lizard.
twice during the game if you have 2.
No, twice per magic phase.
All right. So I could do it
As
twice
long
per
as you're
magic phase.
taking
Village.
Yeah,
Village, the Curseling, and one other
one
wizard.
other Tzeentch wizard.
That's quite tasty, actually.
But you've got to roll it the second time round, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a
you
random.
don't. You just take
can-
3
yeah.
heroes.
Oh no, it's either that or you bring the Lord who can take 5 spells.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're looking at
Right.
a high point game.
Next up, we're going to have a look at Infernal Gateway.
This has been hit with a big fat nerf bat.
Cast
Used
on
to be a
six-
spell of awesome.
Yeah, cast on 16 plus. 16 plus. How many dice would you need to roll
I
for that?
don't matter. You're adding your wizard levels. You're level 4.
This is generally on. This is where you want your level 4 getting this spell. So
Okay, Infernal
probably 4
Gateway.
dice.
The wizard opens a portal
Yeah.
to the dreaded realm of chaos, a magical tear in the mortal plane that sucks those nearby into certain oblivion. This is going to suck people off the board, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Infernal Gateway is a direct damage spell with a range of 24 inches. The target suffers 2d6 strength, 2d6 hits. 2d6 strength,
So potentially
2d6.
12
Ooh,
hits.
strength
actually.
12 hits.
Max is 10.
Yeah.
The stats.
So
rule.
12 hits at strength 10.
Keep reading what happens if you roll a strength for 11 or
With
12.
the Warp Flame special rule, roll for the strength first. If an 11 or 12 is rolled when determining the spell's strength, the hits are resolved at strength 10 and the unit suffers 3d6 hits rather than 2d6.
Yeah.
So that would be
It's a lot worse than it used to be.
18 guys
Yeah.
Potentially 18.
could be
strength
hit
10
at
hits.
strength 10.
Yeah.
And it used to be,
No, it used to be if you rolled an 11 or a 12 for the strength, remove the entire unit from play.
ooh,
Yeah.
This is why we say it's been hit with the big fat nerf bat.
that has been hit with a nerf bat,
Although,
but that sounds mean enough.
I don't understand one part. It says you open a portal to the realm of chaos, and that's where they go. What happens if you cast it from the realm of chaos?
What happens if you're casting it on demons? Demons are going to love it, in theory. but hey,
Yeah, right enough, actually, yeah.
never know, there might be something in the demon book.
You just send them home for a cup of tea.
Oh,
Go
no.
away.
Or if you're fighting the realm of chaos, are you sending them back to the mortal realm?
Or you're just sending them somewhere else.
And would that not have been better, where you were just causing the unit to take toughness tests? Would that not have equated better to them being
But
sucked off?
it's Tzeentch.
Tzeentch.
Tzeentch wouldn't do toughness. Tzeentch, I'd probably say initiative would probably be the better bet.
Initiative test.
No,
yeah.
no.
Because then, oh no, then it'd
That's
be too much like...
Slaanesh. Tzeentch's change. It'll be random.
Yeah, a
It'll be
random
a random
stat.
stat line.
Yeah.
Take a check on a random stat.
Okay, well, there's a couple from Tzeentch. We're going to move on now to our Nurgle buddies, which no doubt are these ones. I see the
These
word.
guys.
See the word leper here. It can only mean one
Oh
thing.
no, these guys have... Nurgle used to be a support lore. It's now gone into an offensive lore spell.
Let's kick off with the lore attribute. When a spell from the lore of Nurgle is successfully cast, roll a d6 after resolving the spell effects. On the roll of a 6, the wizard's wounds and toughness are both increased by 1 for the rest of the game.
Yep. So you can potentially have a toughness 10, 10 wound wizard.
That'll stack, won't it?
Yep.
Toughness 10, 10 wound, greater demon prince.
Yeah. Oh no, this me and Mike, within about 10 minutes of reading this book, smelt the Cannonbear, and we will do some cheese hunt on that.
Yes, that
There's
is...
already the cheese hunt combo for that one.
Yeah. Right, we will wait and see for that. First up, we have the Curse of the Leper. As the caster speaks, his followers are blessed with a virulent resilience, whilst his enemies watch in horror as their limbs wither and drop off. Nice. It can be cast on any unit, friend or foe, within 18 inches. I'm already wondering why you could cast this on yourself. If cast on a friendly unit, the Curse of the Leper is an augment spell that increases the target unit's toughness by d3 to a maximum of 10. Ouch! Until the start of the caster's next magic phase. If the Curse of the Leper is cast on an enemy unit, it's a hex spell and reduces the unit's toughness by d3 to a minimum of 1. Until the start of the caster's next magic phase. The wizard can choose to extend the range of this spell to 36 inches. If he does so, the casting value is increased to 13 plus.
Yep.
That's a supporting spell. You cast that on units that you're going to charge.
Yeah.
Correct?
Or you then cast it
your
on the...
stuff.
Or you cast it on the target that you're about to target the next spell on.
And the next spell is called Rancid Visitations. As the wizard reaches out, his enemies are seized by a terrible affliction that blackens their flesh and rots their organs to mulch. Rancid Visitations is a magic missile with a range of 18 inches. That inflicts d6 strength 5 hits. The target unit must then immediately pass a toughness test or suffer a further d6 strength 5 hits. The target must keep testing its toughness in this manner until a test is passed or the target is removed as a casualty.
Brainwash, rinse, and repeat. Because you kind of you potentially turn that unit into toughness 1 with that.
They're never going to pass that.
You've got a 1 in 6 chance of passing your toughness check.
The other thing to do with this, though, is do it with the Vortex Beast.
Yeah.
Because that makes you take toughness tests as well.
Yeah.
So you combine it with the big beast.
Nurgle's on fire.
He
That's
wasn't
why
used to it.
it's
This
better,
is why it's the
better
best
of the
lore.
3 laws in the book now.
Yeah.
Also, you've got things there which will give you regen, things that can make you poison attacks, things that can make make it harder to hit, isn't it?
No, you're really harder to hit. Yes.
At this stage, I am now considering my position.
The only bad spell in this entire book, in my opinion, is Plague Wind, but that's due to the fact that I don't like magical vortexes when they backfire.
Whereas previously I'd been thinking just purely of a Khorne army, I'm now thinking of a Khorne and Nurgle army.
You now want to take the Nurgle wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the Nurgle giant was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that. Next up, we have Slaanesh. Here we go.
The perv in general.
Bliss in Torment is the lore attribute. When a spell from the lore of Slaanesh is successfully cast, roll a d6 for each unsaved wound by the spell, if any. For each result of a 6 rolled, the wizard's weapon skill, initiative, and attacks are increased by 1 until the start of his next magic phase. That's not so good.
Which means not so
you've
good.
now got a potential weapon. You've got a wizard who's going up in his weapon skill. Wizards are only
Yeah,
weapon skill 5. You're now
but
getting
he's
weapon
going up and then going down.
No, he's
No,
going up,
going up
for
just-
the combat.
for
then
your
coming back.
for your might. I'd say that wizard's going to combat.
Yep.
For my turn and your turn, he's got that extra weapon skill and those extra attacks. And then at the start of my next magic phase, I've then got to find some more targets. So to speak.
Yeah, whereas with Nurgle,
It's just constant.
it's just constant build,
Yeah.
build,
Yeah,
build,
but
build.
it's 3 stats as well.
As opposed
to one
and
stat.
it's
Yeah.
for every
Or 2
wound you
stats.
cause, and not if
Again,
you
for casting
cast
a
one
spell.
spell.
Gotcha.
So when you see the spells I've chose for this, you'll understand why there's one of them in
Okay,
there.
we will kick off with slicing shards. The wizard flicks his wrists, and in a cloud of razor-sharp the darts burst from his hands, flensing the minds, bodies, and souls of his foes. So he's just sitting there going, like,
Yeah. Yes.
Frying.
Yeah. Slicing shards is a magic missile with a range of 24 inches that inflicts d6 strength 4 hits with the armor-piercing special rule. The target must then immediately pass a leadership test or suffer a further d6 strength 4 hits with the armor-piercing special rule. The target must keep testing its leadership in this manner until a test is passed or the target is removed as a casualty.
And here, for every wound I cause, I get the roll on the Bliss of Torment chart. So hopefully I can get that quite high, quite quick.
The only way you're going to do that, though, you need to reduce your target's leadership. That's your only problem.
I'm going against,
Or you do it against undead.
let's say, undead, goblins.
This is where potentially you want to team Slaanesh up.
Would
with
you
Tzeentch.
use that? Would you use that on a unit or on a monster?
Units, because it's only strength 4.
Okay, we will move on to the Cacophonic Choir, cast on a 12+. The wizard screams an ear-piercing chorus that tortures the souls and shatters the sanity of those who would stand in his path. It's a hex spell with a range of 12 inches. The target unit takes 2d6 hits that wound on a 4+ with no armor saves allowed. If at least one unsaved wound is caused, the target unit gains the Always Strike Last and random movement d6 special rules until the start of the caster's next phase. The wizard can choose to have the spell target all enemy units within 12 inches. If he does so, the casting value is increased to 24. That's like a little nuke
But the
going
nice
off.
advantage is it's a hex spell. So unlike direct damage and magic missiles, which can't be cast into combat, this you can. So you charge into combat and then you cast it on the unit you're fighting.
I actually chose this spell for another reason. It's 2d6 hits that wound on a 4+ with no armor save.
Yep.
It don't matter
What target
the
toughness is.
target is. It's doing 2d6 hits, allowing no armor.
So heavy cav.
Heavy
Yeah.
cav, monsters.
The only difficulty is you have to be within 12 inches of that. So is that not taking you pretty close to a
No,
monster?
that's why you're
I'm in a
fine.
block of Warriors of Chaos.
Yeah, you're in a
I'm
fight.
fine.
You're already in the fight, potentially. Cast it then.
Yeah, yeah, right enough.
I can do it
it's
once
in
I'm
a
in
unit
combat.
anyway. Yeah.
I'm doing this spell once I'm in combat.
Ouch.
And then, because of the abilities, I get the Bliss of Torment to up my stats
Yeah.
further for
Shiv
the
it.
combat.
And then potentially shiv the monster and have a roll on the Eye of the Gods chart.
Ouch.
It was a lot of stacking.
Did say
for this.
this
Yeah.
is, admittedly, this is more. That's
This
the
is-
best case scenario.
This is my favourite ones of the lore.
Okay,
And there are
guys,
my reasons for them.
that's your magic. Let's talk. Let's pull a couple of mutations and powers, guys. If you had to pull 2, what would they be?
Scaled Skin.
Okay,
It's a
scale skin,
Scaled Skin 5+ special roll.
20 points. Yep.
So your character's
Adds
now
2
got a
to
2
your
up.
armour.
So your character's now got a 2 up armor save
Before shield.
before your shield. Yeah. So buy a shield. 1 up armor save. Wizard. Lord of Chaos.
That's quite nice.
It's a 2 up
On
armor save on the
foot.
wizard.
Yep.
But the best bit, that guy's on foot.
That is nasty.
There isn't that many. I don't think there's many units in the game that can boast even a 2-up armor save on foot.
No, I can review a few characters, but that's about
I
it.
said units or characters, yeah, but there's some characters. But this potentially is only on the only disadvantage with these guy things is you can only have one of them per army.
Right.
One of each per army.
Pick another.
Be the Soul Feeder.
You're going with that, cool.
Soul Feeder, 10 points. The champion is possessed of an immortal hunger that can only be satisfied by feeding upon the souls of his slain foes. Roll a d6 for every unsaved wound inflicted by a character in close combat. For each result of a 6 rolled, he immediately regains a single lost wound.
I'm teaming that with the Law of Nurgle.
Right, explain.
You're going up, then you take
Law of
wounds.
Nurgle, your wounds are going up.
Yep.
Every time I cause a wound, I'm going back up to what I got.
The wizard's wounds and toughness
Because
are
remember,
both increased
this
per one.
hasn't got the to your stats to your start beyond your starting stat.
So your stats going up, and I'm just keeping a really high wound count.
This would take you up.
This keep no, it
The
won't take
law
you over
makes
it,
you
but
higher.
the laws keep the law attribute for Nurgle is the thing that's ticking up your wounds. Every time he wounds you and you wound him back, there's a chance that you're going to get the wound he just did to you back.
Using this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ow! I love it.
Personal favourites.
Yep.
Third Eye of Tzeentch.
Third Eye of Tzeentch, 10 points. The third eye opens in the favoured one's forehead that can see the shifting strands of fate. A character rerolls ward save results of a 1.
You could potentially put this guy on put it on the guy who's got the Talisman of Preservation for a 4-up ward save. It's a Tzeentch item only, so you've got to have the mark of Tzeentch to take it. So you've now got a 3-up ward save. So you're re-rolling all ward saves of 1. You're not re-rolling the 2s, but you are re-rolling your 1s.
Yeah, so 50% of your failures. That's not bad.
Well, you're only going to fail 1 in 3.
Yeah.
And again, up for that, probably Nurgle's Rot because it's funny.
Yes. I was just looking at Nurgle's
Especially
Rot.
if you put him on, say, either a chariot or a warship, something that's got a large base size.
Well, it goes on a Demon of Nurgle or a model with the mark of Nurgle only. It's 10 points. Nurgle's Rot is the most dreaded and contagious of all diseases, for it gnaws at the victim's soul as well as his mortal body. At the start of every magic phase, every enemy model in base contact with the character suffers a single strength 1 hit with no armor saves allowed.
10 points, it's worth it.
Yeah. It's just bleh. And then I'm going to pick one, the Collar of Corn.
Always a favourite.
45 points, Talisman of Corn or a model with the mark of Corn only. These rune-etched colours imbued with Corn's loathing for magic provide protection against the arcane arts. The character has the Magic Resistance 3 special rule. Now, the reason I was thinking of that
Is your Corn army.
is my Corn army is not going to be particularly magic resistant.
No.
And
Magic
That's
res
one unit
yeah.
to have magic resistance there.
But the question is, who can I put that on?
One of your lords or heroes.
So
no, it's Lords only, it's 45 points.
Could I stick that on to Archeon then?
No.
No.
No?
All the special characters' gear is set. They don't have options to buy stuff.
Right, so I don't have any options to buy that. It would be the roll my own Lord
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, there's some of our favourites. Let's have a look at a couple of the dread artifacts of chaos.
Your proper magic art. One thing to make a note of in the mutations that we just had, some of them actually do count as magic weapons, arcane items, enchanted items, but they don't come out of your magic item allowance, they come out of your mutations allowance. It doesn't mean that you can still only have one of each, but then say you buy your...
But you're not spending your magic allowance
Exactly.
to get it.
You're not buying your magical sword out of the magical allowance.
Yeah.
Okay, the dread artifacts of chaos. Gents,
Filth Mace.
yeah, Filth Mace, 30 points, okay? Close combat attacks were made with the Filth Mace have the poisoned attack special rule. Once the wielder has killed an enemy model in close combat, he immediately gains the terror special rule, and from the start of the next close combat phase, friend or foe, all subsequent attacks made with the Filth Mace that result in a successful poisoned attack have multiple wounds D3 special
Combine that with
rule.
Soul Feeder.
Soul Feeder,
the one
which
we
we
just
had done. Yeah, roll a d6 for every unsaved wound inflicted by the character in close combat. For each result of a 6 roll, he immediately regains a lost wound. Okay, explain then.
So you've done your wound. It's
Yeah.
unsaved, so it becomes D6 wounds. That's now D6. You've got D6 unsaved wounds you've just caused.
You've just regained
And
6
then you
wounds.
potentially roll a D6 for each of them. So you're increasing the chances of you rolling your 6.
Right. That could regain quite a lot of wounds. Then.
You could regain a lot, but you still can't go above.
Yeah, you can't go above your.
Yeah.
What is it, 10 or
10, whatever your stat is at that time. From the law attribute.
Okay,
It's relying on a lot of 6s, but you're trying to stack the dice in your favour.
But with the bloated with disease, the wizard's wounds and toughness.
Potentially maxed at 10.
Yeah.
You can potentially get a really good demon prince
Or sorcerer lord.
Sorcerer lord.
Yeah. Would you give that filth mace to a demon
You can only
prince?
you've got to give it to a model with the mark of Nurgle anyway.
I'm not sure if a demon prince can.
The demon
take
prince
it.
can't because doesn't have the mark of Nurgle.
Yeah.
No.
They become demons of Nurgle.
You can only take magic items up to 25 points.
So you can't have that one anyway.
Yeah.
So you
Your
can't
sorcerer lord could. Or your...
Mike, do you want to pick one?
Yeah, I've chosen Pendant of Slaanesh.
Okay,
It's,
Pendant of Slaanesh.
It's
Go
a
ahead.
magic banner for your battle standard
No, it's an
bearer.
enchanted item,
It is.
Mike.
Yeah, I was read it. Yeah, it's an enchanted item, which is amazing.
Okay, an enchanted item. The bearer of the Pendant of Slaanesh can only join units that have the mark of Slaanesh. Fair enough. No other character may join the same unit as the bearer, as he cannot join units that already contain a character. Whenever the bearer or his unit make a break test, it is taken on 1 less dice than usual. Note that a break test cannot be passed with the insane courage on a single d6. In addition, for each unsaved wound the bearer suffers, he gains +1 attack for the rest of the battle.
I'm also teaming that up with the Soul Feeder. So if you cause a wound, if I cause a wound, I've got a chance to get a wound back for what you've caused. But if every time I cause a wound, I'm getting +1 attack.
No, every time you've been wounded. But no, the best bit about this is not it's the dirt broke we found for this as well. There's a mission in Fantasy called Watchtower.
Yeah.
So whoever holds the Watchtower at the end of the game...
in addition, for each unsaved wound the bearer suffers, he gains +1 attack. So
With Soul Feed, I'm trying to keep my wounds
you're trying to
back
keep
up.
him up. Yeah.
Yeah, try to keep him alive for as long as I can.
And this stacks this
Yes.
+1 attack. So that if you can take wounds and get them back,
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll
you
keep
get
gaining
more and
attacks.
more and more and
Yeah.
more attacks.
But
Does that go up to a limit?
10.
10. Max stats. The other nice thing about this is you put him in a unit of Slaaneshi warriors, buy them, I believe they can buy the +1 leadership banner for 25 points, is it?
I'm rolling 1d6 and I'm stubborn in a watchtower.
Yeah. Leadership 9 in a watch. I'm rolling 1d6 for a watch on a leadership of 9 in a watchtower.
Yeah.
I can't fail it.
It's physically impossible
You can't
for me
physically
to
roll.
fail
You
some of
can't
these
roll.
leadership
You roll
tests.
6. Cool. It's under my leadership of 9.
Yep.
I'm not running out the watchtower. Get out.
And
I'm
I'm
holding this
chaos, so I'm
watchtower.
going to be hard as nails to move.
Because most of those times you're going to have those Slaaneshi warriors with the shields inside that watchtower going, cool,
Yeah.
hit me. Hit the watchtower. I'm only going to have to fight so many of you.
Right, I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick I was going to pick the Banner of Rage, but we kind of talked about that. So I'm going to pick one that I have no idea what it is. It's called the Skull of Catan. It's an arcane item. The bearer of the Skull of Catan can choose to consult it before attempting to channel power dice. If he does so, roll 6 dice instead of 1. If the bearer consulted the Skull of Catan, he suffers a -1 leadership penalty for the rest of the game for every result of one rolled when channeling. If it is ever reduced to 0, he's immediately removed as a casualty. A wizard with the mark of Tzeentch may not re-roll channeling results of a 1 when using the Skull of Catan. Yeah.
Basically,
right.
you're talking to a skull. You're
You're-
considered
you're-
to be a bit
It's like
insane.
Mystery Men, isn't it? It's
No,
like
no.
a skull and a bowling ball.
Alastair Yarrick, I knew him well.
Would you do it? And if you did do it, would you just do that at the end of the game?
No,
towards,
I'm doing it at the beginning. I don't
Yeah.
care about my wizard's leadership
Potentially
too
that's one
much.
wizard is now potentially channeling 6 dice.
Yeah.
Getting a 6 channels as opposed to the 1 channel.
So you're not too worried about leadership anyway.
No, I'm a
And
wizard.
it's the chances he's what, leadership 8?
All
Leadership
wizards are
9?
leadership 8 in this list. And I believe the Art of Gods actually allows you to get your leadership going up.
Yep.
So he could potentially recover from this
Yeah.
anyway.
Yep.
Right, well. Okay, guys, there you have it. It's our kind of little overview of the magic bits and pieces in this. It's not there to break down every little bit because there's just a lot of it, but it was more to give you a flavour of how these guys think about magic and how magic stacks and how magic kind of works with everything else that's in there. Now over to you, because this is one, there's still loads in there. If you have the book, detail below what you think any thoughts you've had, or what would you do with magic. Other than that, it's been an absolute pleasure working through the book with you guys, and it's been an absolute pleasure to bring it to you guys. So thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed that, and I'm sure that that's not the end of the Warhammer coverage that we're going to be doing. Cheers.